Okay. Should be recording. I just realized I should really open up the folder that would hold it. Yep, there it is. Okay. I'm not in Darksiders II. Deathinitive Edition. Because I have been so focused on other things. On another review. So that's a third in like 4 weeks. Something like that. That I decided that if I'm going to take a break and play a different game, because when I review, I try not to play other games unless it's like I really need to decompress. I'd rather that break be in a more chill Satisfactory than in Darksiders. Darksiders 2. The original Darksiders 1, yeah, I probably would do that, but Darksiders 2, especially on that difficulty, it's pressing me enough that I don't feel like doing it. Okay, so I could go here, which this is the save I've been doing on the streams, but honestly, I kind of would rather do here. This is the main save that I've been working on with Update 3 stuff, and it's also the one that has like the most of it unlocked. So that's gonna load up. But yeah, oh boy. So the Star Control Origins DLC, the Earthrising expansion review, that went live this week. Hopefully the Doom Eternal review will go live soon as well. It's just the whole has to go through review editing, and things are very wonky, as I'm sure everyone out there understands and is experiencing. So yeah. And also, it's like I just put up something that, because it's been wonky for me as well, mainly because of the reviews. The whole isolation stuff, that actually hasn't hit me too bad, because I'm already like at home all the time in front of my computer doing this stuff because I don't have a real job. Okay, I need to turn this audio down. Hang on. There we go. Oh wait, no, hang on. I forgot. I'm on the headset. I can just grab its volume. Yeah, I love my COS Pro 4S headphones. Don't get me wrong. I love them. They are amazing. The thing is, I've been wearing them so much lately that my ears are hurting a little bit, because my ears are a little too large for them. Like if the ear cushions were like a half size bigger or something, I'd be comfortable. But my ears are, I can't see them, but they feel like they're getting red from so much. So I'm wearing my Arctis 7 headset that I got however many months ago. Which those ear cushions are much larger, but especially when I'm doing videos, I much prefer to use the COS headset, the COS headphones I have, because they're studio headphones, meaning they have a very flat response curve. I think I've talked about this before, or maybe it was in some videos I recorded with them. But yeah, it's a flat response curve, so that means there's no distortion to the audio from the headphones, or at least very minor. I'm going back to the main base, and then I'm going to go through and explain everything I've done here. And also just show off the Update 3 stuff, because I have not played this. Well, I have not put together a video in this since Update 3 exited the experimental branch and entered Early Access, which also came with various updates and changes to it. Nothing too significant, but very, very useful things nonetheless. But going back to the whole response curve stuff, it's just ahead the actual I'm trying to think of what it's actually called. The speaker elements in there. The drivers, there we go. They will have preferences. They'll be more efficient at like certain frequencies than others. And you'll see this definitely with quote-unquote gaming headsets, where they may have much greater efficiency for lower frequencies, so you get a louder bass because it takes less energy to get the same amount of movement on the drivers. I don't want that when I'm playing a game, though, if I'm recording it especially, because I want to, and reviewing, because I want the experience that basically the people in the studio making the audio were actually having while making that audio. But as I said, they're getting a little tight, and this. Oh jeez, I spent. Well, true. Yeah. Star Control Origins. How long was that? That new playthrough that I did? I can find out, I think. Yeah, it's right here. That was 44 hours, 53 minutes for that. A couple weeks ago, where I was wearing that those headphones that were a little they're not tight, but they are close. I think would be the best way to put that. Doom Eternal, which when I played it, because I couldn't, I will explain this in a little bit. I just get back to the main base. When I played it, I wasn't recording, so I didn't have to put the headphones. I was using the speakers, but then I did a replay of it, a Let's Play Plus of it right away. That was about 8-9 hours with the headphones on. Do not take... That was a second playthrough, though, please understand. And I put in a lot more time between the review playthrough and that playthrough, where I was, like, maxing everything out. And also I played with the cheat codes on in that Let's Play Plus. So, just infinite lives and unlimited ammo, because the ammo situation annoyed me. I'm just thinking, is there anything else for that? There's that, but now I'm in another game. I can probably say what it is. I'm just not going to say it just this moment. And that I'm past 40 hours in, and there's still more to do. And that is, I'm actually averaging about 8 hours a day. That is a lot of time to have those headphones on. So I'm wearing, cushions are thicker, so it's a bit more comfortable. Still using the nice mic, though. I'm not using that. Okay. Now, turning to the news, because I've been focused on that review, and also, I've mentioned before, with trying to have the news items be longer, but sometimes the news doesn't support being that long, I decided to try doing sort of a roundup type thing, where it's just, here's a bunch of video game news stories from the week that I think are of interest, but on their own, separately, I probably would not have been able to make the items long enough. So I put that up. The ones that are most interesting to me would be the Airheads, because that looked neat. And those... Oh, yeah. Airheads looked neat. Like, yeah, I probably want to play that game. Windbound also looks neat. Airheads interests me a little bit more at this point, but Windbound is also interesting. I'll talk about both those. But the one thing that I definitely want to point out is the Epic Games Store is currently holding their spring sale, and Satisfactory, this game right here, woo, is one of the games on sale. I don't remember what the price was just now, though. I do know that for the amount of time I put into it, it's like, hang on, this one is at 81 hours, this one 15 hours, this one 204 hours, and then that one is almost 24 hours. So for me, I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it, but I did pay less because of the timing when I got it, and also that it was that first big sale the Epic Games Store did, and it had that like $10 off everything at a certain price or above, so I ended up paying much less for it. But right now it is $27, $26.95. But the holiday sale that they had around the beginning of the year, they had the coupons, where if you spent $15 or more, the coupon would take $10 off. Those were valid. Those are still valid until May 1st. So if you have one, it'll apply. So I actually took advantage of that. So I got a copy of a Far Cry New Dawn for $6, I think it is. Which makes me happy because I haven't played Far Cry or Far Cry 5 or Far Cry New Dawn. But I have Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, Far Cry 4, 5, Primal, and New Dawn. And I've reviewed 4 and Primal. And I'm thinking I may at some point go back and review Far Cry 5 and New Dawn. I think... I remember. Where do I have... Let me check this. I have no idea when to do... Okay, I did get the gold edition of Far Cry 5. So whenever I get around to playing that, if I do choose to review it, I will be able to review the whole experience. Which is just something I like doing when I can. Of course, I've got so many other games I would need to do first, or should do first, like Destiny 2. I keep wanting to do that, but other things. So yeah, go and take advantage of that sale, or at least look and see. If you have an Epic Games Store account, you look and see. There's also Control on sale, Borderlands 3. I actually have it up, and I'm looking at stuff listed. MechWarrior is on. MechWarrior 5 is on sale. Metro Exodus is on sale, including the Gold Edition. The DLC. I like the 2 kernels of that. I like the 2 kernels better than I liked Sam's story, but the base game is definitely very good, and if all you get is that, I think you'll still be pretty satisfied if you enjoy first-person games, if you enjoyed the previous games, definitely. I'm also seeing here The Division 2. I reviewed that. I enjoyed that. $10. It's 67% off, so it's normally $30, $29.99, currently $9.89. That I enjoyed, so that I'd be comfortable recommending. Although they have made a lot of changes to it, and I haven't touched it for a while. Oh, I see Assassin's Creed Odyssey is on sale. That shouldn't have changed too much. $20. That was over 100 hours I spent in that. I know. How much was it that I did spend? 106 hours. And that was just the base game. I went through and did everything, and I enjoyed all of it. So that's also another. That's but they also have some free games there. They have, as part of the weekly free game things, Gone Home, Drawful 2, and Hob. So grab those. Also, Totally Reliable Delivery Service is now, that has released. I think it was in like an early access kind of thing for a while, but it is out, and it's free for the first week. So there's 4 games you can get for free from the Epic Games Store. I put that in that news item as well, because if you want to just build a game library at this time when you need something to do with your time, that's a good place to do it. By the way, that hitch right there, I'm pretty sure was just the game autosaving. It probably doesn't help that the folder I have it saved to, I have Windows automatically compressing. That puts extra work on the CPU. I don't know if it actually has much of an impact, but I do have other news. The NVIDIA thing, I want to talk about Airhead and Windbound. Actually, there's some more news for Satisfactory here, and then something that kind of relates to things recently. Things that it's something that makes me feel a little stupid. But the quick thing about Satisfactory is, yes, we're on update 3, yay! And we have pipes, we have hypertubes, we have glass. We also have this thing, which I've actually gotten a lot more. Oh, I haven't. Oh, that's right. No, I haven't gotten those because I don't care for that style of wall. The Mark II power poles. This is one of the things that actually did come, I think, at the early access. When it moved over to early access, I don't remember it being experimental, or at least not for long. Hypertube, but wall supports and wall holes. I got the wall supports up there, and also wall holes off over there. And how is this going? Yeah, I mean, it's going pretty well, because I got a fair number of things feeding. Haven't gotten to aluminum yet. The area I started in, I want to convert to making the heavy modular frames, which are kind of expensive, kind of hard to make. But over there, I think I can do this to zoom in. So that there is oil production kind of stuff. That's making plastic and rubber and also circuit boards. Yeah, figure that one out. I don't remember if I have. No, I think that is just making circuit board. But then all this here, except, okay, no. See, there's some stuff in the background that's actually power, but this stuff here, that there, all that, and then all of this is all for making computers. So we're gonna head over there. Hang on. Looks like I just got an amusing piece of spam. Well, obviously fake, claiming that somebody tried to get into an Amazon account, and yeah, like I'm gonna believe this. I mean, it's not from Amazon. All the telltale signs said, yeah, don't trust. But yes, we got the hypertube stuff. Oh, I almost forgot. Hang on. Going back. But yeah, so and I completely keep getting distracted. There was an update concerning Satisfactory coming to Steam, which that's by the way one of the wall mounts. And it's pretty nice. Unfortunately, things don't quite line up perfectly with them. By that I mean, you see this position right here, how it's lined up like that. Well, you can't achieve it with that, and even like one notch over, so here won't line up. You actually need to be over here, which is a little annoying. I'm gonna grab some iron plate one over here. Since that production's this tower. But the Steam news, they were gonna target April, but because things are crazy, including in, I think Coffee Stain is Swedish. If nothing else, is that part of the, I know that. I'll also top off the copper. You know, they're doing the isolations there as well, so the April target isn't going to be hit, but they believe they'll be able to make it in May, but they still don't know when. I mean, welcome to game development. When you actually don't necessarily have a pressure for a specific release date, things get kind of, loose. But that's also just part of how reality is, that sometimes that feature that you think is so easy is really not. Especially because you may get into it and then find that, oh, there's a better way of doing it. Okay, see what I mean here? So it's right next to it, so you'd think that it would align nicely. No, it's off by a knot. And I do also have a wall hole over here. So yeah, coming in May. It is their hope, is their target. I hope they make it, just because I like the game a lot. I want them to, expand to another platform and earn some more money from it too. I mean, so I've greatly enjoyed it, obviously, with one save at over 200 hours. And as before update 3, I actually haven't really even touched it since update 3. This is the output for the computers, and it's actually doing decent. It's not that fast, though. It's mainly one thing that's out of balance. That's causing that issue, but I can't... I'd have to take other things out of balance. So right here, we're going to have one of the wall holes. And thankfully, it can actually stretch outside of the hole, of the wall, so it's not too bad, but it just... That way, you can have actually going through. I'll just go through this whole production thing starting right over there. Over there was also important. That's, I need, the Caterium wire to make the computers, and that is produced over there. But, they have explained, and it makes sense. I know that some people would be like, oh, that's unfortunate, but yes, I have my copy on the Epic Games Store, obviously, that's the only place it's available currently. It's not going to... You're not suddenly going to get a key to play on for the Steam version. Which makes sense. It's... why would Epic necessarily facilitate that, seeing as how they are competitors? But it's also, you don't really need it, because there's going to be crossplay. They are working on that. They're not solid on it yet, it sounded like, but they are working on it, so it's... I'm going to fix this thing. No, not that. Do I... No, wait. Although that's true, it's the rubber that actually... Well, hang on. Yeah, how is that? Yeah, that's true. What I just did was completely unnecessary. With the splitters, what you can do to manipulate the flow in one direction or another is like what I did here, where I've got a slower belt here than here, so that way this will get less than this line. Yeah, so they do want to get cross-play working. It's not solid right now, but that you will be able to play it with people that have it on Epic Games Store, that have it on Steam, and the two versions will end up being identical. A difference might be that the save files are in a different location, but they will work between them. So if you buy it in both places for some reason, you will be able to transfer saves. You just need to know where to go. Alright, that's that Satisfactory news. So I'm going to start going through what I got here and then get to the other. So, well, first this is all oil production stuff. These three things I actually don't even need. So you know what? Let me get rid of them. And this is something it took me a little bit to figure out. So you can do mass dismantles. So that I'm just holding down control and everything I mouse over does that. But if you just tap control, it adds it to the list, which is pretty handy, and that's what I just did. So that way I don't need to worry about accidentally dismantling more than I mean to. So this is an oil extractor. There's another one back there. It feeds into this whole monstrosity that produces plastic and rubber, and also you get heavy residual oil right here. Heavy oil residue, sorry. I'm also using here. And that stuff is then fed into here to make petroleum coke, which is what that stuff is that's going by quickly. Because when you combine that with rubber, you can make circuit boards. And I need circuit boards for the computers over there. And this is where it gets out of balance. Because I need more rubber, but the thing is, there is no more, there's no more oil. See, this I have set up, and this is actually important. I saw this mentioned as a neat trick. So yeah, there's a little bit of oil here. It's all being used up by these. And this helps. The pumps help to make sure there's enough flow right here. But this is kind of neat. So fluid dynamics cannot be applied to fluids in Satisfactory, but by doing this, see there's a little bit in there? There's none here though, because it needs pressure to come up, and it's just designed enough of the oil to support that. But in case it ever goes up, it'll go into this tank that can then feed back down in here. So a nice surplus if I like overclock that. But yeah, if I just have the rubber be faster here, this would all be in a better situation. So here's the petroleum coke being made. It's going out there, and then because it is producing much faster than is needed, I have it feeding it. So I'm getting the tickets out of it and keeping production going, which is very important. Because if you end up with too much, well, if this gets backed up, if like this one gets backed up, it's produced all the petroleum coke it can, then it'll stop taking the heavy residue. Which means then that the heavy residue produced here will back up and prevent production here. I did run into that issue. So if you get the game and you mess with it and get into the oil stuff, make sure you have a use for it somehow, some way that you're dumping that. The way I'm doing it over there is a little different. So I'll quickly show that. Because that is definitely something I did not show in the previous, when this was an experiment. I didn't have it set up then. So you see all that. These are empty containers that are then getting packaged with the heavy oil residue right there. So now I have a product that can be on a conveyor belt and can go into the sink. So that's how I'm getting around that whole thing. And yes, you did just see a circuit board go by because I have circuit board production going on up there, but that is like, hey, I need circuit boards or something. Okay, I come here and get it. Yeah. So that's not going to a specific, that's just going. Alright, so next thing I have for talking about that's news related So, as I've mentioned, I did not get a repeat playthrough for Doom Eternal because OBS doesn't capture Vulkan. At least it didn't used to. Turns out, I didn't check this. Days before the release of Doom Eternal, OBS Studio got an update that allowed it to capture Vulkan. I haven't confirmed that it works with Doom, but I probably could have actually recorded it, and I just did not realize. It's how it goes sometimes. I mean, it's just how it goes sometimes. But I did do the Let's Play Plus using the test system and just capturing with a capture card on the desktop, so I do have video for it that will go public eventually. But this Vulkan update is also useful because the current game I'm reviewing, it has a Vulkan version. In fact, that's why I even got the key. Ghost Recon Breakpoint got some significant updates recently. Some that I was aware of was coming, but I haven't been following the news of that game closely. You know, a new experience in there, the Ghost experience, that's supposed to be more like a simulation. So like there's no weapon score, there's no gear score to stuff. It's instead just, here's the weapon with realistic characteristics. Use it. Yeah, I've been playing that way, because it does also seem... It sounded more interesting, and in playing, and yes, except for one... Well, technically two changes. One is pretty damn minor, though. And I really do mean that it's very minor. I shouldn't catch flack for that change. But another change, I could see being more flack supporting. So it's meant to be more of a simulation, so things like you don't have the minimap there, it will instead be a compass. But even then, it may or may not be there. That's what I changed. That's a really small one that that shouldn't generate any flack. I have the compass always visible because I don't know how to trigger making it appear, so it's just easier to leave it there all the time. Plus, I think that's reasonable. I have a decent sense of direction, but that's in reality. So if I know where north is and I turn, I'm still gonna know where north is. But in a video game, you don't have that luxury, so it's like, yeah, I think having the compass up all the time is fair. I also turned back on the enemy marking, which that is disabled. And it's kind of weird to be disabled because there's so many things that relate to it, like special abilities that you can unlock. The drone, it seems very weird that it was disabled like that, but it also just, I'm playing solo, some of the stuff is clearly designed. I'm not saying balanced, I'm saying designed for multiple players, and there is a difference there. And it just, I couldn't do some of this stuff where it's like, no, I'm gonna make my life easy, I'm gonna let that be more. Now, I would be good if it was like they timed out or something, but they don't, they're just permanently up. Anyway, like you could tune them to be a bit better. Yeah, I've got 6 manufacturers going here for the computers, and technically if I just, maybe I should do that. Because if the circuit boards were faster, these would actually make full use of all the stuff being produced. But, you know, like, that is all balanced. It's just the circuit boards that aren't balanced. No, actually... No, that wouldn't help. I was just thinking, could I try overclocking something? But no. I would need to... No, that wouldn't work. I couldn't, like, disable some so I have enough oil and then overclock the others, because it'll still work. It'll just end up taking more power. It'll still produce the same rubber. Anyway, but yeah, so the Breakpoint playthrough, that's going well. I'm over 40 hours in, still enjoying it. And I got the key from AMD, actually. AMD is the one that provided it. Because along with that Ghost Experience update, they also added support so it can be run in Vulkan instead. And it has some things there, like it will use asynchronous compute, support for FreeSync Premium Pro, which was the FreeSync 2 HDR thing, which is an interesting technology. And what was the other thing? There was another thing mentioned. Oh yeah, Fidelity FX, the CAS, content adaptive sharpening. Isn't that it? Or is it contrast adapt? I think it's content adapt. But that's in there. As well. So it's when I finish the review, I'm gonna do like performance analysis stuff in that. Then I'll do Doom Eternal. So I'm looking forward to that because I won't be up so late working on that. Putting 8-hour days in a video game is not always the easiest, especially when you're on mic the whole damn time. Okay. I really should do something. Focus. Well, no, I really should like get rid of that. Well, really all I need to do is get rid of this one and this one and just have everything go here. Wouldn't be the hardest thing to undo later. This. So this will actually speed up production kind of because then the stuff won't be split. I've never messed with the programmable splitters, by the way. I wonder if I could, like, actually, if that includes, like, setting numbers for them and stuff. But yeah, so once I have this done, I'll probably get back to work on the breakpoint review. Oh hey, since I'm here I can give a better look at the tube here. Yeah, it just goes through that there's nothing too special about it. Although it is opaque in there, whereas these things, when they open up, you can't actually see through them. Alright. Now over here, I got a Caterium source up there. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it just, goes down. I use the conveyor wall there just for alignment purposes. Not actually needed, it's just convenient for aligning things. Comes down the raw ore. I could change that, but there's no need to from this tier 3 conveyor belt. But it comes down, I think, except for this stuff getting backed up, because that's being bottlenecked by the circuit boards. I have these refineries set up that will take 2 of the ore to produce 1 ingot, but it's 12 parts per minute. I can do this. So yes, it's technically slower at 12 instead of 15, but this was my first messing with one of these washing like wet recipes, but also it's 2 to 1 instead of 3 to 1, so it will actually end up producing more in the long run if I ignore time, which I can because I don't spend much time over here. Now that it's set up. And then here's the water production for it. And you'll notice we have these new frames that the I should actually change this layout a little bit. Yeah, I should. That the pipes fit very nicely, and the walkways also go nicely onto. Unfortunately, they don't like snapping on the inside here, which is very annoying. Alright, 5, 6, because I'm gonna get rid of the. I just don't want them having to run through. Unfortunately, this is also going to show one thing that does annoy me. A weird alignment kind of thing. So, see how these are right next to each other? They don't align nicely with these. You see how that one, it kind of, not quite, but it kind of matches up with the center, whereas here, it's lining up more with the edge. So you get that stuff in the way, and I don't know why exactly they went with that. I think I have enough room though. I need to get out of here. Well, it'll be able to connect. Yeah. Yep. I screwed up this place. So. Yep, completely wrong. Okay. There. There and there. Okay. That's all back to how it should be. But now just align more nicely. Yeah, so that does the washing. It makes it into ingots, which then comes down to these constructors that make the actual quick wire I need. You can also use these to nicely have the what are they called? The lifts, the conveyor lifts. Oh yeah, and I've got the glass floors so that I can see down. Underneath, that's just like the border of where the water is. That's why they're opaque. But you can have these for these supports. They cost the same as the normal floors, but they look a little nicer, I think. And now Hypertube back. What else have we got? Oh yeah, completely forgot about that. Mentioned it and then got it. Airhead and Windbound. So Windbound, that's Deep Silver Airhead is handy games, and there were other games I covered in that piece, like Near Replicant. There was another, wasn't there? Yes, Good Company. Good Company, which is being published by the regular corporation, is now in Steam Early Access. That, you know, it looked like it should be an interesting tycoon type game. But Windbound and Airhead looked more interesting to me, just personally. My own. I do enjoy tycoon games. This is, in a way, in its own way, a tycoon type game. Very much its own way. So, yeah, it's just, you know, I like platformers, and the survival aspects to Windbound seem interesting. So in that, you play as Kara, a warrior that has been separated from her tribe due to a storm. I remember, do you need anything? The space elevator has nothing more to do. So, as Kara, you're separated from your tribe, and you need to survive now, because you wash up alone, and without any tools, on the Forbidden Islands. So ominous a name, but it doesn't sound like it says anything. By the way, I prefer trains. They are faster than the hypertubes unless you do something to accelerate yourself, which I'll show you later. But I just find trains a bit more reliable. It is annoying that even the straight sections, for whatever reason, have curves. But this is set up to an area that I have producing all I need for the track. The steel pipes and plates. So I figured just come over here, and that main save that I started over there. Unfortunately, nothing yet for dealing with the noxious gas. Like, aside from gas mask, isn't so interesting. Alright, and this can just go plonk. See? So we got a coal source over there, foundries that are making steel ingots, then come to the constructors here to make pipe, and up there is plate. It just bounces out that it's 4-to-1, I think. That's the ratio I'm using. I'm trying to remember. There isn't anything else. Do have 2 sources of iron to 1 source of coal, which is not as balanced as I'd like to be, but, you know, it's what I got here. And at some point, there's a source of sulfur over there, maybe. Yeah, so this is all stopped up just because it's, you know, I don't have anything more for it to produce. Those are just full. But if I want to create more track, that's what they use. So going back to Windbound, washed up on Forbidden Islands, which have these mysterious ruins there, apparently, that you'll need to figure out in order to escape, it sounds like, to actually win the game. They provide mysteries of the past and glimpses of the future, I think it was. Yeah, I've got 2 tracks here so that I can also be down lower, down at the ground. It's a lower section. Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Windbound develops, especially because part of it is when one island you like use up all the resources there, you then need to have your boat, take your boat and go to another. I figure I'll grab the power slug over there. Saw it. Yeah, one also nice advantage, you get out of a train, your light is still on. You get out of a hyper tube, the light is off. Seems to reset that every time. Annoying to me. But anyway, the world itself in Windbound will be procedurally generated, and apparently, and this is actually something I am curious about, the wildlife will be dynamic, and it mentioned in the press release nomadic hunting, so that actually I think could be interesting. Is that you actually need to track, you need to follow the wildlife that you are hunting. I could see that proving interesting. Nope, this I got a little turned around. Yeah, this I intend to like stretch out so I can have rail going up to that computer, the oil center over there, and then also at some point heading over to the stuff I'm about to look at next. But yeah, so I am curious about the Windbound, and also something else. So with the dynamic wildlife, the procedural world, it offers replayability because of they even like use they refer to it as being similar to roguelike, which does not always inspire me with confidence. I'm not always a big fan of roguelike games. Not always. Sometimes I am. It depends. But also the ships, the boats you make it's a modular system, so you'll be able to build to what you feel you need at the time, because they need to be able to survive wind, waves, and sea monsters. So could prove interesting. Oh wait, you know what? I was wrong. That cat stuff over there with computers, that isn't the first. That's the first that I did with the washing. But see, no light on. So this I have quartz being pulled from basically the best sources, but they're right over there in an inconvenient location. Being carried all the way over here. Go into these 3 refineries to wash and make 52.5 a minute, which is pretty good. Alright, yep, I can afford it. Let's do this. I genuinely have like no need for this much quartz, but it still is a, you know what? Let's see what happens. That is not a line. How is that not aligned at all? That makes no sense. Hang on. How did I build this that it doesn't align? Very, very weird. Alright. Glitter. So now it aligns. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. You are annoying. Where'd you get? There you are. Yeah, they set it up so that now the creatures respawn, but it gets very annoying because sometimes it's very near. I like the nice thing. Oh wait, that's not... Yeah, I don't... Now we have that stuff going, so it's going to start using the water, which they use, what? 37.5 a minute, so I think I underclocked this. Yeah. A little bit. I think I could actually unclock it a little bit further so it only provides as much water as needed, but yeah, so these will actually be working now. I know I keep getting distracted when talking about this other stuff. I think I basically finished with the Windbound. That, although it does have the release date of August 28th, I believe. It's August 20 something, I believe August 28th this year. Which will be interesting to see if that is... I mean, hopefully... I'm just... So much stuff has been postponed of late that it's like, hopefully they can... That won't be impact time. That should be far enough out that they'll be able to make that. We'll just have to see. So I have this set up. I have an iron and coal source down there, so I have it initially making pipes and beams, steel beams, which are also the two main ingredients. Well, which the pipes can be used with copper wire to make stators and rotors, which we see rotor there, stator here, which can then be combined to make motors, which are something you need, so I set stuff up to produce it. And because there's also a source of concrete right there, and actually I could if I set water up, because you can do wet concrete, to produce significantly more concrete a minute. I'm kind of tempted to do that since I have the water source there. But that's how I'm making the encased industrial beams right. And then this is all coal power right there. The generators now need water, so that's what that's doing. It looks like these are actually off, because there should be smoke coming from their tops. Possible I'm just powered by the gas generators that were over here by the oil production. There was right here. I didn't realize that. This just takes me down there, so it's a little easier going up and down than the walkways. But you can see the production. There's the iron, there's the coal into the foundries, and that's all the copper stuff back there. Just making copper ingots. You know, that I could also change to use water instead. Yeah, it wouldn't be that much faster. It's not worth bothering myself that much. But that makes the copper wiring. Yeah, this was fun. I had to go through after we got the wall mounts for the hyper tubes and redo all that, so it was straight instead of this platform right here. That was actually there because that was the length the hyper tube could go. Anyway, yep. I think I covered Windbound. It's also coming to PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. And also coming to them, although 2021, I think, was the date I saw, for Airheads, which is... Well, no, Airhead. which is coming from Handy Games, which is it's a sister publisher to THQ Nordic. That I'm trying to remember what it has more like the mission for indie games, I want to say is the case. Because it's sort of spun off from THQ Nordic, the publisher, not that entity that's now... Oh, I can't remember the name, but you used to have two different THQ Nordics. One was like the holding company that owns THQ Nordic, Handy Games, Coffee Stain Studios actually as well. They were purchased by it, but also Koch Media, which owns Deep Silver, which that's doing Windbound. So much of this stuff is all connected. Yeah, unfortunately I can't put the top on this so nicely. Things get kind of wonky. Oh, here, you know what? Let's go down. You're going very fast. I'm gonna go down. I like using these as stoppers so that I don't just go launch. I don't think okay, I do have it here. Oh no, I just need to turn it for some reason. It's weird here because there's such a little space with the rocks there. But anyway, here's the quartz source. Have two here. I think that's... Why do I feel like this is supposed to be the third? Anyway, so these are producing, and these are both pure nodes, so it's 240 per minute. So I am not able to use that much, so they just end up stopping. And it's saving again. Yeah, so Airhead is a Metroidvania platformer that has a kind of quirky thing to it. So you play as Body, and you have this friend, Head, whose air pumping heart has been stolen. Oh, I forgot to talk about that. You know, well, yeah. Whose air pumping heart has been stolen. I have another one of these over there, so I'll just talk about that. And you're gonna help him try to get it back. And it looks like it should be interesting. Could be a fun game. I think it says coming 2021, so it's got a while to be worked on yet. But the announcement trailer that was put out today, and it didn't embed in the news, it looked interesting. It looked fun. I do enjoy, you know, the kind of stylized platformers like oh, what is that name? Type something. Here, I'll be right. Typewriter. I like that. And there's plenty of others as well. It just... That one, because of its art style and its quirky kind of design where you're going through different typefaces and such and learning some of the history of them. I found it very interesting. I'm hoping to set this up where I use a lot of the refineries to get the increased output for copper. Well, copper's there, iron here, and that's the wet concrete production. So this is how you do a hypertube accelerator, because it turns out you get an initial speed boost out of this and it basically keeps going, but if you come out with a certain speed, and then you get pulled in, and it takes that speed you got from here and adds it to this one, then adds it to this one, adds it to this one, and whew, you get going much faster. Some people are going nuts with that and using it to launch themselves across the map. I'm not doing that. And technically I could, but I am not. Oh, that's right. This is... The new Humble Choice stuff is out. I paused this most recent one because I had enough of those games. It's like, I don't need it. Oh, looks like Hitman 2 is in the new selection. Huh. Subscribe before May 1st to receive a bonus game. Light plans excluded. Interesting. But I don't always see what the games are. See, that is one thing that does get annoying, is it doesn't always want to, they don't really show you what the current game is. Okay, the April 2020 game. Hitman 2, Greece. This is the police opus magnum. Malik Sintes? Don't know that one. Raiden 5, Director's Cut. Driftland, The Magic Revival. Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. Trubrick Brook. I can't read out what the rest of it is. I just don't see it. The Bard's Tale 4, Shopkeep 2, and Capitalism 2. I probably won't be getting this either, just because I have Hitman 2 and Greece already. I enjoyed both. See, Greece is another one of those. It's a platformer. That one's very story focused and has a beautiful art style to it. And I really did enjoy that. And I'm hoping that Airhead is also going to be like that. Man, yeah, Greece was a good, really. I'll probably end up pausing though because I don't need another key for it, and none of the other games specifically called them. Yeah, Airhead looks like it could be interesting, and you play as Mr. Body, and you also will make use of his friend Head for solving some of the stuff too. So I mean, it's got the potential to be kind of quirky, but hopefully also well done and fun. I got more stuff. Okay, yeah. I'm just reading through. The only thing that I have neglected so far is the NVIDIA laptop news. So it's a time of year. Sort of like how, in cars you get like the new 2021 version of things announced at like the end of 2020, stuff like that. Do I have more? Yes, I'm not sure if I actually lied. So we connect that. This is the stuff that's feeding to the refineries. So here's the iron ore production. There's 4 nodes. I only have 2 hooked up. And there's also, wait. Oh no, I don't have copper hooked up at the moment. I didn't have enough materials to actually do the connecting. That's I can do that. So yeah, it's a time of year when we're getting the new laptop announcements, and naturally NVIDIA made announcements because of their GPUs. That will be going into... Oh. Yep, that's the line. And I can just do that, I'm pretty sure. Yep, everything is straight. So that will then come up here, and this is already hooked up. So it's able to just go. For these to all be on the tier 4. And yeah, I did set up a hypertube here for going down so we can follow it. And I think, yeah, those are all Mark IV. Yeah, the wall conveyor holders, conveyor mounts is nice. So now we got iron, copper is the middle, concrete is the top. It's all going to be. But over here, my first geothermal, which I like those because they just provide base power the entire time. Oh, now I get the email. Oh yeah, I got an email from Humble Bundle about, hey, your subscription is unpaused. And now I got the one telling me what the games are in the new choice offer. And I'll unpause it eventually. It's nice because I got the bonus discount by being a subscriber in the Humble store, so I don't always want to save it. Yeah, so I got 3 water things here hooked up because they can provide 120 each, but pipes top out at 300, so they're all underclocked to give me just 300 per pipe. Comes up and feeds into the refineries to produce whatever. Probably help if I actually had this connect. And if both connect. So now got the copper feeding in. And are these set up to... No, they're not. They're not set up to merge, which is probably why I didn't have... Oh, son of a bitch, I didn't realize that this was... Oh, I think it needs to be misaligned, though. Well, no, let me check. No, it will connect. Well, that's up. Out. Well, now we can. Yeah, I just don't need them both hooked up properly because I don't have them feeding into anything. I do with the wet concrete over here. That will feed in down here, where I have a lot of it stored. And this stuff actually does go pretty fast. It's like 80 per minute. That's very quick. And we got the 3 hooked up here. No, there isn't a... Okay. But you can also see here how, you know, nice for the conveyor lift going through and the walkways going along. And eventually I will, like, add on a second level to this so that I can, like, get more production up top, like actually getting to the heavy modular. I should actually set up some stuff for making plates so I can use that and finish off the walls. This is just set up because I need that mount there. But going back to the NVIDIA stuff, so yeah, new laptops coming this month, April, and more in May, using not only some of they will be... I keep tripping over my tongue a little bit. We will see... How long have I been going? I've been going... Yes, I have. I'm past an hour. Okay, so let me try to quick on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna stop. I'll hang out at the main menu so I don't get distracted by the game. We are getting the RTX Super Series mobile GPUs, basically. We are getting the RTX Super Series GPUs in these laptops. So those will provide an increase in performance. They've also made some changes to the Max-Q thing. New technologies in there, like Advanced Optimus, which is neat. So Optimus was NVIDIA's thing for swapping between the discrete GPU and an internal GPU, integrated GPU into the CPU. Previously, you had the issue, though, that you couldn't have that and have G-Sync. On the display, it wasn't possible, because you need direct access to the display for that, and swapping between 2 GPUs doesn't really make that possible. Well, they came up with a solution. It sounded like... Hardware Unbox did a video talking about it. It sounded like it is a hardware solution, so it is... Not all laptops may have support for it. I don't quite remember, though, but there is a solution so that you will get G-Sync, which, depending on how that's leveraged, could actually really help with performance and efficiency, because you could have, like, at the desktop, the frame rate dropped down much lower, but thanks to G-Sync, it should still be smooth. I don't know if they'll be doing that, but in theory, there's something that could be done. They also... Dynamic boost? Check it. Yes, dynamic boost, which is basically NVIDIA's version of AMD's Smart Shift, where both of them, the idea for laptops is you have a power budget for the CPU, you have a power budget for the GPU. When they need performance, they can tap into that power budget and clock themselves up higher, and the way boosting algorithms work is a temporary boost past that, a temporary increase past that normal power budget, where it's like a secondary power budget that you can eat into for a certain amount of time. Once that's exhausted, then you're back to that normal power budget. But what Smart Shift and Dynamic Boost allow you to do is, hey, there's some loads where the CPU, it's not using all of its power budget. So we could take that power then and give it to the GPU, let it boost higher, provided you have a shared cooling system between them, because that's what all feeds into, is a cooling system. This boosting control, so that you don't get it too hot. But if it's like, well, the total power budget for the whole thing, CPU and GPU, we're not hitting that because the CPU isn't being fully used, well, why don't we just move it over to the GPU? Now the thermal system is being used more fully, and you're getting better GPU performance. That's what both these things will do. AMD would have an advantage, though, because they're able to integrate it into their APUs that will be in the laptops along with their discrete GPUs. Whereas NVIDIA, their solution does use a special hardware chip, they were saying on Hardware Unboxed. They are using a special chip so that it is able to work with Intel and AMD CPUs. So when it sees that, hey, that isn't using its full power budget, okay, I can increase the GPU's power budget so that you get some more performance there. Definitely interesting to see. Not all laptops are going to support it. It'll probably mainly just be gaming laptops for one thing, but also those from OEMs that want to support it want to have that in there. I think I'm trying to remember if the Acer Predator Triton 500. I'm trying to remember if it supports that, or if that was the Advanced Optimus. It supported one of those. But the third thing, and this isn't part of Max-Q, but it's definitely, yes, this is actually very true. This is a good use for that. DLSS 2.0 is a way that you could improve your efficiency, because it will run the game at a lower internal resolution, which that's not what I remember. Does this offer a resolution scale? No, it doesn't. So you would have it render at a lower internal resolution, then apply DLSS 2.0, which is basically a smart image enhancer. I do think that's the most accurate way to describe it, in a very simplistic way, because it takes that lower resolution image, it sharpens it, adds detail based on what its neural network says, in order to recreate something that should be more akin to the resolution if rendered at the full resolution. MechWarrior 5, I talked about this last time. MechWarrior 5 has it. I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't had the time to. I do want to look at it, but anyway, in the laptop, yeah, it makes perfect sense. You reduce the load on the GPU, so it can be more efficient then. You can run at a lower frame rate, but you'd be able to achieve higher frame rates, or you'd be able to achieve the same frame rate at less power consumption. So, and I figure a lot of laptops, 15-inch, 16-inch, 17-inch screen, and depending on how far away you are from it, you may not even see any loss of quality, even if it does exist. Like, I may see it on my 23-inch screen, but on a 17-inch screen, it might not be possible to spot it. So that could be a perfect use case for it. And NVIDIA said, 20% longer battery life when combined with their some battery thing. I just don't remember the name of it at the moment. But I would also just say, even without that, just DLSS 2.0 and a frame rate cap of some kind, you could see improved battery life just by doing that. Again, I also, because I get the press releases from Acer, the Predator Triton, I combined that into Triton. Predator Triton 500 gaming laptop that is coming with options of the RTX 2070 Super and 2080 Super, along with Intel 10th Gen CPUs in there, and also the Nitro 5, which is a not so expensive top of the line bleeding edge gaming laptop. That Triton 500 is starting at $2,200 when it launches in May, I believe it was. I'm going by memory. The Nitro 5 also launches in May, but that starts at it was $600 or $700. I don't remember if it was $599, which is $600, or it was $699 and $700. Because this is a 6 would be accurate either way. Anyhow, that can offer up to the RTX 2060 in there. If you want that configuration, that's at $1,000, but there's also going to be versions with the GTX 1650 or 1650 Ti. Pretty sure that was two, and those will be less expensive models. But yeah, I mean that is like if you want a laptop that should be competent in gaming. I mean, I don't know how an RTX 2060 Max Q will perform, but 1920 by 1080, which is what the television is, and I still have the RTX 2060 in the test system. It handles that very well. I mean, like, that should be a 1440p performance card. So if it's able to get near that in a laptop form factor, that should be very well performing. I don't know the 16 series performance as well. Yeah, I don't have one. I haven't really worked with one, and I don't follow information on those as closely. But yes, my point being that the Nitro 5 should actually still be a very competent gamer. The Triton 500 will be better, but its also starting price is more than double the Nitro 5 starting price. So if it's what you want, though, go for it. There's also some stuff because AMD's we're starting to see laptops with the AMD APUs in there, and some of those are looking to be very, very good performance and efficiency. It helps when they have a winning design in their CPUs and are also able to take advantage of the smaller node than Intel. And it's weird to think how long AMD is going to have that advantage that they did not plan for. Like, that's one thing they talk about. We always planned that when designing this stuff, our targets, that Intel would be meeting their roadmaps, and they haven't been. So this is great for us. That's been their view on it, and they have been very fortunate, and that may continue into like next year even. So it will be interesting, and probably is actually helping AMD a lot because it lets them, not that they would pare back their targets, but they may have the CPU side, I could believe, is having it a little bit easier, which allows a bit more focus to be on the GPU side, which is definitely where AMD needs even more focus, because NVIDIA is a different beast to try to go after than Intel. Because Intel was resting on their laurels for so long that AMD managing to have success first with Zen, there was a wide opening that Intel made for them. Whereas NVIDIA they don't rest as much on their laurels, but they are doing weird things with pricing, or at least have been, so AMD still has an opportunity there, but we need to see them actually get into it. The Navi GPUs with RDNA 1 have shown, hey, we still got what it takes, we're just not all the way there yet. RDNA 2, that'll be coming this year, but the expectation is end of the year. But that's what, it's going to be a custom variant of RDNA 2 in the consoles, and there should also be PC RDNA 2 discrete GPUs out around the same time. It sounded like, from what they were saying at CES. No, the Financial Analyst Day. Sorry, that was more recent. But it's like, that's where we'll actually be able to see, okay, can they actually like start bringing the fight to NVIDIA at the top end? I hope so. I much prefer the AMD experience for me with the drivers, like using chill and such. I much prefer that to NVIDIA, to the NVIDIA drivers. So I look forward to the more powerful RDNA 2 GPUs that I will hopefully be able to get one of and use in the desktop. That should be more than enough. So we're gonna quit out of this. So there's the thumbnail. Wow, an hour and 15. I'm getting so used to long videos. I've got some of the Ghost Recon Breakpoint videos are 4.5 hours long. I don't know how many, but some of them are. At least one, I know. Should be seeing you next week unless I decide, you know what, I need to take time off from this. It is possible. It is. Alright. But see you soon. See you next week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. I'll probably be here next week, let's face it, unless there's something actually stopping me. I'm not just going to take the time off. Yeah, so I should be here next week. And hopefully by then, I'll hopefully have the Breakpoint review done by then, so I'd talk a little bit about that, and maybe even start, when the review is done, I'm going to start working on performance analysis, so maybe I can talk some about that and differences between, I think it's DirectX 11 normally, and Vulkan. I may start having some stuff there, and maybe I'll try an experiment with that. There's an experiment I want to try doing, and it might be applicable for that. We'll have to see. Depends on how busy I feel with everything going on. But yeah, so everybody out there, keep safe, keep healthy, and keep gaming, because it's a good pastime if you need to get through stuff. And hey, there's plenty of good games out. Alright, see you next time.